Tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your district.
Well, I'm actually originally from Wisconsin, born and raised just across the border. But we always had a focus on the Twin Cities. My 3 sisters and 2 brothers ended up migrating in this direction. My father went to school at St. Thomas. My mother was a school teacher. And I joined the military when I was 17. And after a career in the military and then in business, I eventually made my way back to Minneapolis area and settled in Carver County, where my brother is. My sisters are very close by. My 3rd sister is across the border in Wisconsin. But Carver County is a very conservative county, beautiful area. It's God's country, west of the Twin Cities. The center of the county is Waconia, with beautiful Lake Waconian Island in the middle. But it is made up of about 10 townships and smaller towns, with the exception of Chanhassen and Chaska, which are certainly well-noted, more medium-sized cities. And Chanhassen, of course, was rated as one of the best places to live in the country. So I live in a beautiful area, very much a growing county, over 90,000 people, and very diverse, as I just stated.
What led you to run for state representative?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. I felt the call to duty again. My 3rd call to duty, actually, in my lifetime. My first being when I joined the military and stayed in the Navy for 23 years. The 2nd time was when 9/11 occurred, and I created a nonprofit called Operation Homefront. At the time, I was in California. And we built that organization to a national organization, over 26 chapters around the country. And after being its CEO and chairman for several years, I stepped down, turned that over to nonprofit professionals. I moved to Minnesota and helped my brother in business, really started to help him. And I saw what was going on in the country. I had gotten into politics somewhat with Operation Homefront. That was really my first foray into it, and I was most closely aligned with Republican politics. And as it turned out, Carver County was more of a Republican district. A lot of the people had the same kinds of ideals as I did. And I saw what was going on in the country. I was not happy with the spending going out of control. I was not happy with the way we were having government at the highest levels making the decisions, instead of government at the lowest levels making the clear decisions. And government certainly works best when it is closest to you. And I felt a calling, and ended up putting my hat in the ring for the nomination, and got the Republican nomination, and one thing led to another, and here I am. But I'm here to do a duty. I'm here to help right-size government. I think government is too big. I think government should be perceived as an expense for the people. And when we think of our expenses in our own daily lives, we try to keep our expenses as low as possible. But just like needing to pay for the lights to stay on as a needed expense, government is a needed expense as well. But you try to keep it as small as possible.
If you could offer up the first bill of the session, what would it be?
The first bill, I will tell you, I think should be an overhaul of our election system. We have a problem. And there's been too many election cycles with too many irregularities that have been highlighted. And I would like to see voter ID. I would like to see us stop with this voucher system where you can vouch for people the same day. I don't think our problem is with our recounts. We know how to count and we know how to recount. The problem is are we counting what we're supposed to be counting, or are there more votes in the box that are supposed to be there? And we just saw after the Franken election, for instance, that there are something like 20, 30,000 more voters that were votes than there were voters. I'm not sure about those figures. But I think that has to be taken care of, followed immediately by the budgeting bill, the omnibus bills. I think we hit on those immediately.
When the end of session finally rolls around in May, what will determine whether or not you have been a successful legislator?
I think if I have participated in the budgeting process and we have finally gotten the budget under control and that we are no longer spending more than what we take in, I'll feel that I've been a success.
If you could sit down and have a conversation with anyone, living or deceased, who would it be?
It would be Abraham Lincoln.
And what would you talk about?
Abraham Lincoln's presidency was the only presidency that was on a wartime footing the entire time that he was president. And I would ask, and it was Abraham Lincoln who really shaped the way a commander-in-chief would operate during a war environment. And I would talk about why he did what he did, why he kept McLean in position as long as he did, what made him decide to let Sherman move into Atlanta and go to the sea from there. Why did he put Grant in charge? What was going through his head? What telltale signs did he have that he was able to read people as well as he did to put great people in these wonderful positions to do such a job that they did?
Well, I've reached the end of my questions. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about or something that you would like to add?
Well, I am absolutely honored to be elected as a representative. I want to do a very good job, just like all of us. I don't care whether you're a Democrat or Republican. We all want, I think, what's right for our state. We want what's right for our country, and we want what's right for the people. And we're going to do the best job that we can. All of us do. But I think that politics is different today, and the decisions that are going to need to be made are going to be very different than the status quo of the last 30 years. And what that means, I'm not really sure. But it has to do with getting back to the basics and getting back to the Constitution and the way that the framers felt, and freedom being the most important driving force that needs to guide our decisions. That's about it.
Thank you for sitting and talking with us.
You're welcome.